Welcome to Above the Fold, everyone. I'm your host, Austin Brown. Today I'm here with Christian Tabak again. If you're, been watching the show, you've seen that Christian has been on this show. This is your third time now?
That's correct.
All right. So Christian, you're above the fold this week. Could you talk about your story?
Sure. During last week's UCOSA meeting, UCOSA, which is UCO Student Government, is UCO Student Association, UCOSA President Stockton Duvall appointed a new slate of Supreme Court justices.
What classifications were these appointees, new appointees?
The five were freshmen.
They were all freshmen?
They were all freshmen.
Why do you think he chose all freshmen?
Because this is a lifetime appointment, barring resignation or impeachment. The goal with this was to bring in students who could stay around for a while, get in there, get the job down, and maybe kind of help for the next generation.
So, with that being said, what happens after 4 or 5 more years and they're all gone? Are they going to choose 5 new whole freshmen, or are they going to maybe...
Right now, that's still to be determined for this slate. Usually how it would go is, as one graduates or resigns or however, they just appoint one in. This was a special case because the previous slate had just became uninvolved.
How long had that previous slate been in, how would you say that, in rule, or...
They'd been involved for a
Yes.
while. The previous time the UCOSA Supreme Court had done any sort of ruling was in the spring semester of 2013. They had ruled on the eligibility of candidates for the UCOSA elections.
Gotcha. So they were fired or just de-appointed, or did they all graduate and now it's time for, a whole new 5?
Duvall had reached out to them, but for various reasons,
They basically didn't want the job, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
they weren't interested in continuing.
Gotcha. Okay. And so, being a part of the Supreme Court, what is your job, or what are you going over?
The Supreme Court usually just focuses in on questions or concerns with UCOSA's Constitution. They also do rulings related to other recognized student organization constitutions. So if there's concerns or conflicts, ultimately would go all the way up to the UCOSA Supreme Court. Also, if UCOSA's Committee on Transparency, Reform, and the Art Committee, I forget what the A stands for.
Gotcha.
But if there's anything that committee, which handles regulations and reforms, that would go up to UCOSA Supreme Court as well, and they'd rule on that.
Gotcha. So they had a meeting this week. What was the meeting about?
Well, aside from the appointment of the justices, they also discussed legislation that would make a requirement for the chairs and vice chairs of Senate committees to be active UCOSA senators. Currently, UCOSA Constitution does not require the committee chairs or the vice chairs to be involved with UCOSA whatsoever.
And there's a problem with that, or?
The concern raised by the bill's author, Senator Tate Atkinson, was that since they weren't the chairs didn't have to be active members, that would mean they might not be as involved. Also, not being senators, they would not be allowed to technically speak to bring legislation. They'd have to act through other senators who are part of the committee.
Gotcha. So to be on the Supreme Court, you only get appointed, it's like a life sentence, meaning your college life sentence, because it's until you graduate. It's a very special appointment. It's a very special appointment, right?
Correct, yeah. Although UCOSA Congress is currently in a unique situation where they're going by appointments rather than elections. Typically, the UCOSA Supreme Court is the only branch of government that's ruled by appointments as opposed to elections.
Gotcha. Speaking of elections, you guys next month be on the lookout for student body elections. Thank you for being on the show again today, Christian.
It's a pleasure as always.
If you guys could like, subscribe, and watch our channel, we would appreciate that. Peace.